Next, we will hear from the chairman of HWPL, who is leading various and innovative peace initiatives at a global scale. Let's welcome HWPL Chairman Man-hee, a peace messenger and peace president dedicated to this cause of global peace. Please give him a big applause. So while I was traveling the world, some people came to me and asked to take a picture with me. So I asked them why they would want a photo, and they said, "I saw this light being with you at all times." So they wanted to take a picture with me. But I said to them, "I don't see that kind of light. How come you see it?" Also, I visited a home of former president, and there was a woman standing before me, and she looked very surprised. I said hello, but she just stood still and looked surprised. And I met the former president and talked with him. And she came to me and said, "When you entered, I didn't see you as a person, but I saw you as this great light entering in." This kind of event happened many times. When I went to South America, I was eating breakfast at a hotel, and some people came to me and asked for a photo again. So I asked them, why would you want to take a picture with me? They said, we had to leave last night, but we stayed to take a picture with you. So why? Why is the reason? They said, when we saw you singing and dancing the other night, I saw this great light being with you. So we wanted to take a picture with you. Can we please take a picture? So I went there with a spoon in my hand. I went there to take a picture with them. And same thing happened when I went to the UN. Just like how a person uses a tool to do something, whatever power or authority it's given is with the one above, not with people on earth. And when I think about myself, I am more full than anyone else. That's what I think of myself. I'm nothing. But this kind of thing happens, and they tell me, and sometimes I even doubt, is this really true or not? And even the work of HWPL that I'm doing today, this kind of work I didn't start on my own. And the one above is using me as like a tool for his work. That's what I think. But the words spoken or the work being done is true. It's not fake or false. But when it comes to religion, I think religion is very difficult to understand. Should we believe or not? Will this event take place or not? these kind of questions we have regarding religion. Maybe if you're moved in your heart, you might be able to believe. But whether it's religious matter or worldly matter, I didn't do on my own. So traveling the world, going on these world peace tours, at all times, I traveled in my own clothes, and when I met someone, I didn't prepare things to say. I just went there, met with them, talked with them. And what's clear, there's one thing that's clear, that there is someone using me. And I'm just speaking things that I saw and heard. For thousands of years in this world, people have suffered from wars and conflicts. People and all creation created, if they were created by the Creator, why is everyone in pain and suffering? Perhaps many people ask this kind of question. And I also used to have that kind of question. But even in the religious world, I realized many things. In the Christian world, there are 66 books in the Bible, and there's that last book, only about 20 pages. But there's no one who understands the meaning of that book. No one understanding the meaning or the reality of those words recorded in that book. Whether they're scholars or professors, they don't understand. However, the one who made that book, before he reveals it, no one can understand. Then how did I come to understand the meaning and the reality of the words recorded in that book? I don't want to talk much about this. I feel like the more I learn, the more I don't want to speak about it. But the problem is, whatever is recorded in that book, the one who recorded it knows, not people here on earth. And that one who recorded it will fulfill it. It will be according to his will. So the reason why I'm saying this is, while I'm going around, I want to explain the reason why I'm going around the world proclaiming peace, working for peace all around the world. When 2,000 years ago, when Jesus was born, an angel said, "Glory in heaven, peace on earth." When Jesus went to Jerusalem and spoke, he said, "Jerusalem, Jerusalem, it would have been better if you knew about peace." But Jesus, he was crucified. In the end, you might think, "Oh, isn't this death inevitable?" And that person died and he resurrected. We know this from the records in the scriptures. And because of this, peace being achieved, wars happening in the world, this happens according to someone's will. people in the world, like I said, I've gone on 32 world peace tours and no one refused peace. Everyone wanted peace. But it cannot be achieved with just a snap of a finger. We have to make the effort to achieve peace. That way, we can achieve peace. Whether it's the heavens speaking or the earth speaking, just talking about peace cannot make it happen. Everyone wants peace. When everyone's doing the work of peace, then that kind of world of peace will come in the end. And that's what I believe always. And why do I think that way? There are many people in this world, and this world, religious world too. There are many different religions. And like I said earlier, this one book, only a few pages, 14 pages. It's been 2,000 years since it was recorded, but no one understands it. And the one who we can understand it only when the one who recorded it reveals it. And do I have to go around talking about it? No. People with knowledge will talk, but people without knowledge will be silent. So now, when it comes to knowledge of there's nothing above knowledge from heaven. But the more I understand, the more I don't want to speak about it. So peace, I believe peace should start from homes. It should be educated from homes. Secondly, peace education should be introduced to schools as well. Those words should go into students' hearts and minds, and so that they can put into action. Then peace will be achieved. If these conflicts continue on, peace will never come. In the word peace, there's one thing to think about. We are people of flesh, but that is different from our minds. Flesh can be killed, but spirits cannot be killed. One can kill one's flesh, but not their spirit. So spirit is living. Even though flesh is dead, their spirit is living. Then one day, at some point, that spirit will exist as a being. So today, as we are making the effort, putting into action what we learn, what we need to do is educate peace in homes, in families, and also in schools too. If you look at this one book, Bible, the contents about peace, why is it there? How can you resolve the issue of sin? That's what I think about. So there are things we learn from people, and there are also things we learn from God. But things from God, they're difficult to understand. And because I learned, then I have the knowledge. In the world of humanity, if people's minds are governed by the Creator, then we will enter into this blessed time, a blessed world. And when will that happen? In the religious world, there is a record when that will happen, after which event and which event. We hope this will happen tomorrow. But there is a process that the heavens do this work. And this process is recorded in the scriptures. We can find it there. So those with knowledge will understand, but those who don't have the knowledge, they will just think in an ordinary way. If we don't have any knowledge, then the world would be very complicated. But because there is knowledge, we teach and learn, and we can live in a more orderly way. I believe that is the case. So what is religion? Why there has to be religion? It's because there is sin. So religion is a way of educating people not to commit sin. So we want a good world to come. If there is the creator of heaven and earth, we want the creator to come and live with people. Then the world will become a beautiful place. A poet in India foretold about this country, Korea, and I read the record about it. And then he said, please remember my country, India. How did I come to read this poem? One minister of justice brought the record to me, so I saw it. And perhaps that person, the poet, recorded it with the vision, with the revelation from heaven. Today, for peace and cessation of war, this day exists, and all of you have gathered together. We hope wars will come to an end and peace will be achieved in this world. We should look at the words of the prophets in the old times and realize something. And we shouldn't fight amongst ourselves, but help one another. Peace is not elsewhere. That is peace itself. So we should make that kind of effort. That's what I think. One thing I wanted to say, there's a book of Christianity, and there's the last book in the Bible. And in that book, it prophesies about the end of the world. But you see that there's one era coming to an end and a new era starting. And I memorized it. I memorized the contents. It almost became my flesh and blood. I read it to that point. There are good things and also bad things. It's only a few pages, but in the world of in the religious world, for these past 2,000 years, no one understood that meaning. If there's anyone who understands, I will ask, but there is no one. And it explains that end of the age. It says, first heaven and first pass away, and new heaven and new earth are created. If first heaven and first earth pass away, does that mean people will also pass away? You might think that way. That's recorded in the religious scripture. That's what it says in those few pages. If there is a saying about death, there's also a saying about life. If there's something that you can touch and see, you will acknowledge it, but what is there to verify? So regarding religion, after being dispatched from military service in a large field, I pray to the one above. I had no idea of any religion or church at the time. Then one night, this big star came to see me. It seemed like a star, but when it came close to me, it was this bright light. So I couldn't see clearly because it was too bright. I was there in a large field, and there I stayed in a small house with my father. So I ran to my father and said, "Father, the star came to me." That's kind of unbelievable, but I was telling the truth to my father. So he came out with me and said, "This star is so big and bright." So he was very surprised. Because of this event, I pledged my allegiance to God in blood and started my life of faith. I say religion, but peace is the best. When Jesus was born, the angel said, "Glory in heaven, peace on earth." When Jesus went to Jerusalem, he said, "It would have been better if you knew about peace." So this is peace that we're talking about. In the sinful world, people fight with each other. There are many conflicts, but that's not peace. Even if you have peace on your own, that's not peace. The whole world, everyone, if everyone practice peace, practice love, there will be no more conflict, no more fighting. In order to do so, what we need is love. Love our neighbors as ourselves. We have to love one another. Then wars will come to an end. This is how we should live our lives. We are not two, but we are one. We should live together as one. The members of the International Law Peace Committee have come and joined us today. Why is it necessary to implement this international instrument? That is because when the United Nations, I heard that United Nations was founded for peace, but what we want is a peaceful world without war. However, the current international law is not enough to bring all wars to an end, prevent all wars. So Russia started a war. Russia is a member of the UN Security Council, and they started a war. Because there is something wrong, we want a new instrument. So the members of the International Law Peace Committee drafted the 10 articles and 38 clauses. This is to bring all wars to an end, to prevent conflicts. For this purpose, the declaration was drafted, and now it has to be implemented. The 10 articles and 38 clauses were drafted, but because of COVID, we could not go abroad. We just stayed home because of COVID. But nowadays, the restrictions have been lifted. So should we just leave the 10 articles and 38 clauses as they are on paper? We have to compare the previous law and the new law and put into action what's better, implement what's better. Members might know this story as well. I went to the United Kingdom, and there is the headquarters of ILC. And I went to one university and gave a speech. So I talked to the audience that if the current international law is good, there wouldn't be need to make a new one, but we, members of the International Law Peace Committee, created these 10 articles and 38 clauses. And I told them about it. What do you think? Which is better? And they agreed that what I told them about is better. If there's some fault, we correct it. We fix it. And if there's something better, we go with that. So with the 10 articles and 38 clauses, we should introduce to the United Nations so that they can put it to a vote and approve of it. So we had that in our minds, but because of COVID, we couldn't make those moves. But from now on, we should review again. The members of the committee are here today, so we should review again and bring it to the United Nations for their approval. If they say approve, then it will be approved. This is not this law doesn't apply just to others, but it applies to the members of the committee as well. So we should do our best to review them and then introduce to the United Nations. And I believe they will put it to a vote. And if it's approved, then it will be implemented. There will be a date when the United Nations was founded. If the law was complete, a new thing wouldn't be necessary. But because that wasn't the case, a new instrument was drafted. But we should still review it and be approved, submitted to the United Nations for approval. So members of the committee, let's do that work, revise it, review it, so we can submit it to the United Nations. If they say this is better than the previous law, they will go with the new one. What we need to do is fix the fault, correct it, and make it better. This is peace and cessation of war. If wars happen, the young lives will be sacrificed. Why must this happen? When the Korean War broke out, I was a veteran. I fought in the front lines of the Korean War, and I experienced many things firsthand. When the war is broke out, there are firing of shooting and firing from both sides, and everyone is desperate to survive. They're fighting not with the soldiers, but with the bombs and with gunfires. How can they survive? I was a soldier at the front line, and I experienced this many times. If I retreat, there's no one waiting for us with food. They don't come with food. So there are many people who starve and die. These young lives. These young ones, they die and they lose their lives. I held a conference at the UN cemetery in Busan, and those who were lying there, they were my comrades. And I said to the audience, ask my comrades what war it was like. So that's why I held the conference there. Of course, the nation fought that war to protect the nation and the people, but does it have to be a war? They should settle disputes through dialogue. That's why there are international laws. Young lives shouldn't be sacrificed. So we must achieve peace and cessation of war as a lasting legacy for future generations. Who should do that? It should be us doing that work. So let all of us become messengers of peace, create a world of peace together. Let's do that. What is true love for our children and grandchildren? That is to achieve peace and hand it down to our children. Let's really do that. Today's HWPL 7th annual commemoration of the DPCW. Everyone who's joining this commemoration, please remember these words. Let's leave a legacy of peace. Please remember this. And let all of us become messengers of peace. Those who work with international law, they're all here with us. We should not let the words remain on paper, but we should submit them to the United Nations. I've been going around, traveling the world many times. Why? So that the declaration can be introduced to the United Nations and they can acknowledge it and approve it. That's why I've been meeting with the officials of the UN, asking them, urging them to acknowledge this declaration. So, members of the committee who have drafted this declaration, please review and revise them so that they can be approved by the UN. I believe that way it will be implemented. I'm always working for a world of peace. And peace should start from every home, every family, and school. Recently, I visited Mindanao, Philippines, and met many leaders there. And I talked about peace education. I talked about peace education at universities as well. And the students also agreed that it's necessary. So until it's all completed, let's not come to a stop, but work together to achieve peace. Everyone, thank you so much.
The global population has recently crossed the new threshold of 8 billion. Where is the globe heading to after all its brilliant advancements? Is it war or peace? Let's find it out in the video. The DPCW beginning of world peace. Hello, my name is Ashley Jacob and I'm 9 years old. I live in Davao City, Mindanao, Philippines. I remember a scary story my mom told me about when she was little. She said that she saw some really scary things happening in Mindanao. There was loud gunfire that sounded like fireworks and people were dying because of the war. It was so scary that she couldn't go outside very often. Whenever I hear my mom's sad story, I get scared. And I pray, please don't let what happened to my mom happen to me. I don't want to live in fear. And I think all children feel the same way. I pray for peace to win every day. Peace in our village, for our family. Peace in our school. Peace is my hope. I'm very grateful to be participating in HWPL's Peace Education. Thanks to those who visited our country many times and taught us peace education, many children like me have gained hope. Now we can have a brighter and more peaceful future. I want to say thank you to Chairman Man-hee for bringing peace to the Philippines. I will study hard to learn HWPL's peace education so that I can spread peace like Chairman Lee. Now I can proudly tell everyone that there is peace in Mindanao because of HWPL. I really hope that peace will come to all the people around the world. With lots of love and thanks from peaceful Mindanao,